and sitting in the car, kind of, vegetating. So I got another, 5 minutes to wait or something. And I see a police car go by. Well, that's fairly normal because they do a little speed trap in front of the school. But in this case, there was 3 other ones with him.
That's unusual. Usually they just send one for a presence.
Yeah. I mean, you don't need a speed trap with, 4 cars.
Oh.
And it's like, wonder what those guys are doing. And they were also driving by pretty slow. Hard to tell exactly, but they seem to be going awful slow. Like they're looking for someone. So I'm going, that's interesting. Things that are unusual, stand out, pay attention to that. Could save your life one day, right?
Yeah.
So I'm hanging out a little longer, and I see this guy walking by, and he's got some kind of tattoo on his neck. He walked. I mean,
Did he have the ubiquitous star tattoo?
It was a star tattoo, actually.
Awesome, on the neck.
On the neck, yeah.
Arg.
Yeah. And you can tell by the way he walks that he's a con, ex-con. I don't know how to describe it exactly, but you kind of just tell. And it's the way he walks, the way he kind of looks around. Anyway, he's kind of shuffling along, right? And he's got one hand in his pocket. And it always makes me nervous when someone's walking towards me that doesn't look really in place. He's got a hand that I can't see or 2 hands that I can't see. So I sit up a little bit straighter and I make eye contact with him, right? And it's not threatening.
Yeah.
I look straight at him. I get the acknowledgement.
So you're saying, I've seen you.
Exactly. I get the acknowledgement and I kind of look off sideways. So it's not a threat or a dismissal, right?
Yeah.
And kind of gives me that little look back. So, okay, we've seen each other. It's cool. He walks by, kind of does a look around, and it's kind of like he's checking the cars out to see if people are in them and if they've left stuff. It's pretty obvious, right? So he goes on by, goes off, kind of around the corner. I don't see him. And I see one of the cop cars come back around, and you can see they've seen this guy, and all of a sudden the lights go on, but not the siren, and he goes after this guy. So it's really obvious this is who they're looking for. I don't know if he robbed a place, if he had called his parole officer. I don't know what's going on, but it's pretty obvious they're looking for the guy.
He's on their chart somewhere.
He's on their chart somewhere. And you can see the one car goes, then eventually the other 3 go on by, and they're off around the corner. I don't know exactly what happened, but it's pretty obvious this guy did something, and folks were out looking for him.
Yeah.
Now, did anything bad happen? No. But paying attention to stuff around you that's unusual is kind of a big deal. And maybe it had been a different situation, and I wasn't paying attention. I didn't make that eye contact with him. Who knows what he had in his pocket, what he had in his mind. Maybe he's looking to jack a car to get away from the cops.
Yeah. Talking about the paranoia versus and I jokingly call it paranoia, but the awareness of it, the result of the eye contact with, I think is really significant. And I think that people need to really understand how that's done in a way that successfully meets your goal. So number 1, I want you to tell me what the goal of eye contact is. And number 2, how to successfully execute it.
Sure. So in this particular case, what I wanted to accomplish was to make sure that he knew, I knew he was there, and I was on to him. If he was going to try to plan anything, I wasn't somebody he's going to be able to surprise. Right? Because I didn't know if he's a threat or not.
Yeah.
I just know he's out of place. And that's the thing about awareness. You're really looking for something that's out of place. So my goal was to make this guy realize that I'm not just some guy who's zoning out, who's an easy target. Because, who knows? Maybe he's looking to jack a car, maybe he wasn't. He never did anything. But I wanted him to know, I see you, I'm aware of you.
Yeah,
Okay. But I didn't want to cause a confrontation.
How do you avoid causing a confrontation? I mean, what's the distance you've got here? I mean, I would assume the distance interplays somehow in respect to this.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I was sitting in a car and he was outside the car. And he was maybe 12, 15 feet away-ish.
Yeah.
So, that wasn't a threat distance. But yeah, absolutely. The way that you interact with somebody, if I'm sitting or standing right next to you, within a foot or two, that's a real intimate place, right? I'm either there because I want to get it on with you or because I want to, get it on with you. Yeah. Right. Whereas 3 to 5 feet maybe is different. And it depends on the culture and the location, all that sort of stuff. But the closer you are to the front of somebody, the more threatening it can be.
I see.
Now, but if someone's standing behind you, like on inside of a bus or something, it doesn't wig you out the same as if somebody's standing in front of you. It's an interesting psychological phenomenon. Regardless of the distance, if you're trying to really cause an issue with somebody, if you hold that eye contact too long, if you're staring, glaring, if you look up afterwards, things like that, that's the kind of thing that can really make somebody feel uncomfortable, feel threatened enough that they want to respond.
if I make eye contact with you and I lift my eyes up, and I've dismissed you.
Exactly. Yeah. I've done the kind of dominant stare glare thing, and then I've dismissed you as not being important.
Oh, so that's almost like a teenage girl that she does just before she goes and slams the door on her bedroom.
It's very similar to that. But what it's doing is it's basically saying you're a punk. It can be a threat. Whereas if you give just enough context so there's acknowledgement and you move your eyes off sideways, it's not threatening.
So your goal is to just make it clear that I know you're here and you know that I've seen you.
Exactly.
And that's all there is to it. That's
all there is to it. There's no challenge.